Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Thank you all for being here. It is a very rare thing for us to move into a higher dimension as a permanent state of consciousness and being. In recorded history, this has never happened before. And therefore, this transit from 3D to 4D, 5D, and beyond is a path that we are all learning together, meaning that you have to feel your way through it. And there are unknown factors that may have appeared as intellectual curiosity and interpolation that now we have to figure out how to navigate. And today I want to talk a little bit more detail about such adjustments as we are trying to figure out how to separate ourselves from the collective karma that may be active, triggering all the member of the group body of humanity into empathing all kinds of feelings and emotions that may initially seem that is not ours because it's part of the collective, it's big, but at the same time holds in it a key or a gift that can allow us to actually advance and accelerate our ascension. Let me explain. Let's talk about the group body for a moment. We had spoken about this before, and let me explain that we cannot exist as an island. We are social beings, and we form what I call group bodies, which was in French the term is egregore. It creates a psychic living entity, but it's much bigger than the sum of the parts. Simple example: a family unit. Okay, that the family unit, not only because of sheer DNA, but because of also this similar rearing and upbringing and behavioral reinforcement and activities, family reunion, dinners, family getting together at certain points, birthday parties. We evolve a collective consciousness that every member of the family is plugged into, and it can be beneficial for the collective. Let's say, for example, you're all going to church together and praying, and in the effect of us praying at dinner or whatever, it elevates, and the group body, the psychic living entity, can provide strength and support in the event that any member of the group body is weak or is feeling the faith being tested. The reverse is true, that the group body can be in fear of something. Let's say there's an existential threat that has to do with some member of the family, or let's say a place that we used to gather together. The family is threatened by some event occurring that they're going to lose that particular connection. And as that fear happens and the group body senses it, that fear is transmitted to every member of the collective. So it has a higher aspect, it has a lower aspect to it. So that's a simple example. The church you go to, that's a different group body. The sports team that you play in or that you support, that's a group body. The gender that you're in, that's a group body. The work environment that you're in, as long as you're close to them, that's another culture or group body that it forms. The fact that you're a human being, it's the largest group body that we're connected to. Okay? Now, certain group body are higher than others, have a higher purpose, like a religious group body. If there is not a lot of dogma and it's heart-centered, it's very open, it can be mostly positive. There's always some toxicity here and there because the group body is not perfect. It's not God. The group body is just a collective support by communion and by sharing experiences that is created to help elevate all the members together. And in the event that one member is weak, they call the higher aspect of the group body. It comes in. It can. When I was part of the mystery school, this is something we actively did, because as we call upon the group body of all the ascended masters, we can call it in. It can help elevate us. Okay, so depending, for example, a small group, we have a group body, and so if we do this correctly, the group body has also its karma. Okay, let's say, for example, family members, ancestors, they have their own karma as well. There's ancestral knowledge. There are ancestral tests that have happened that our ancestors did not learn, that are passed on from generation to generation to generation, having the same test presented in front of everyone. I have shared with you before that sometime, if even in your ancestral lineage, there are certain tests that all your ancestors have faced. When it comes to you, you can stop it by not trying to absorb the karma of the group body, but by you responding to the karma very differently. First of all, to realize that the karma that you're facing now, let's say, for example, it's a poverty consciousness karma that's coming from the group body. That karma is not yours. Okay? That you have to figure out a way to understand what belongs to you and what comes from the outside. That's the first step, right? And once you understand this, you can say to yourself, that is the karma that belongs to the group body. It's not mine. Mine is that if I was disconnected to the group body, I would have a completely different perception of the present, or a different relationship to the present, and a different outlook under the future. It's because of my connection to the group body. And because of this, I am asking the Lord and the Ladies of Karma, the Karmic Board, which is composed of the Divine Director, Mother Mary. The Divine Director is a cosmic being. He's trans-universal. It belongs to multiple universes. So he's a cosmic being. Mother Mary, who is the Mother of Mercy. Lady Kuan Yin, the Mother of Compassion and Mercy, the Buddhist female Bodhisattva. Pallas Athena, the Goddess of Truth. She sees everything. Lady Portia was a medieval ascended master who was a proponent of justice. Lady Nada, who is the self-effacing, almost egoless ascended female master. Then we have Lady Justice, who is blind and can execute what needs to be executed in fairness, without any favoritism. And finally, we have Elohim Cyclopia, who is an architect or an engineer who created the very structure that justice is dispersed in the universe. Now, all of the 8 members of this body needs to agree, particularly when you're facing things that are connected to your group body. It is not easy for us to detach from these things. And they are big, they're immense, and a lot of time you're going to need assistance. You're going to need to present them to the Karmic Board and asking for their support. Think of it almost like a divorce court, okay? As a way to pass out a separation agreement to figure out what's fair, because all these beings have different role that they play. Okay. Certainly, the Divine Director is pure energy and vast and immense power. Then all of the other members, one is seeing the truth, the other one is dispensing justice fairly, the other one is Mother of Mercy. Each one of them have a different role that they're playing. And together, they help clarify the roles that we're playing, so that, because if we let an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, like if you take a ball and I swing it against the wall, it will bounce off the same energy. It will create, the universe will end up being a very harsh and unsurvivable place. You need that kind of, you need to put consciousness behind that law to and higher consciousness, highly elevated in spiritual consciousness, to allow for a compassionate resolution to the issue that relates to karma and how it interconnects to us, to group body or to individuals that we have karma with. I hope this clarifies for you the role that the karmic board play in this. But the first is the recognition that this is not 100% mine. My karma would have been different had it not been for involvement. So, first of all, sometimes you think, am I going crazy? I'm feeling all of these things. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I had been saying to you, and that for several months, and some of you have confirmed this in class, in multiple classes, that I've been feeling a sense of being unsafe. It's not clear. Some of us were talking about it a week ago, or 2 weeks ago, that some of us were also feeling rage and feeling victimization. And it comes, it's interesting how it comes. And again, in hindsight, you have 2020, and this is why I'm talking about this, is that because we have to feel our way through it. None of us were aware of this. I wish I had had the foresight to see it ahead of time, but none of us, at least that I remember of, had ever transitioned permanently from one dimension into another in recent memory, particularly ascending. We fell, but ascending and going back and reverse engineering this, it's a different story. And what I'm noticing is that as such, what it feels like to me, I think initially is mine. So I'm waking up in the morning and I'm feeling a sense like there's a cloud around me initially, like something is not right, like a psychic dissonance. Like my body and my energy body knows something that my consciousness cannot comprehend at the moment. Okay, an unease, a general malaise. Okay, and over time, several weeks, several days, it translates into, I am not safe. Something is wrong. I'm not safe. And as that continues, all of a sudden I get to a point and I'm beginning to realize, wait a minute, this is beyond. I'm not safe. And when I begin to sense that I am not safe, it would take me to an experience, similar experience I've had in this lifetime or in a past life. And this is the trick. This is the part that's the most difficult to identify. Because what happened is that I am not safe triggered me personally to a moment when I was 4 years old, when my father was so abusive. He was harming my mom and harming everybody around us in such a difficult way that it was a major catastrophic trauma for me that made me feel unsafe and untrusting of him. Okay? As my father and the person that was supposed to give me protection and security and all that, it made me completely not trusting him. So I'm saying this because it's important for us to understand that, and what it did to me for a moment, because I went to that memory, I automatically begin to search that event that happened in my past that's so vivid for me and realize maybe there is something I didn't process. In other words, why is this coming now when it's something that happened years ago? I was 4 years old when this occurred. What is it that I did not understand about this? What is it that's still unresolved? So I'm turning the event and trying to find, maybe I hid something. Maybe I lied to myself. Maybe there's something I didn't get. querying myself, trying to figure out, doing all this inner work. And I spent weeks and weeks turning this over and over again until I finally asked the right question. Is this 100% mine? I didn't realize it was coming from group body initially. I didn't realize it. I took it because I'm feeling unsafe. The next thing I know, the memory came back. So I'm thinking that it's connected to me personally, not to the group body of the planet. And I want you to understand what I'm saying. The way it's going to show up for you may not be similar to mine, but it's going to trigger, and you may not feel unsafe. You may feel something else. You might feel angry. You might feel, I am a victim. You might feel some other emotion, but it's going to go to because what's happening to the planet right now is so complex, and 8 billion people, group body is large, and it's feeling many things, and it's going to resonate to a weakness in your own spiritual psychology to trigger an emotion in you that will flare up an echo of what the group body is feeling right now. And when that echo occurs, you may take it as if, oh my God, I didn't resolve this completely. There's a part of this that's coming back. It's a life review. I need to sit down with this and look at it even more. When in fact you looked at it plenty, you resolved it, you may have resolved it already. What you need to do is to begin to realize and ask the right question. Is this 100% mine? And if the answer is no, it's not 100% yours. I'm telling you, when Melton and Janice were talking about rage the other day, 2 weeks ago about this, and I'm thinking to myself, I didn't feel rage. And then after I hung up with the class, I realized, oh my God, I did feel the rage. Because a couple of nights, morning I would wake up and I would be screaming for my sleep. I would go, like I'm trying to shake something. Like utterly, like I would utter like a scream. And I realized, yes, there was rage in this too.
Yeah. And I felt funny enough, I was just gonna say the unease that you're talking about. I just felt it a couple of days ago, like deep, deep unease. And it's just like almost like nauseating, like so. And I'm like, what is this? And then I remember you talking about it. First of all, I was getting lost and I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, what? It's just such a horrible feeling. And I know, like, I'm trying to figure out, and I know I'm going through grief and stuff like that, but this is different. Like, what is this?
Yep.
So, anyways, then I remembered what you said.
Yeah.
And it's terrible. Ew.
Yeah, and again, thank you for supporting what I'm saying, because
yes,
it's so true. Like initially you don't. I'm in my core. I'm okay. I'm not perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like,
okay.
there's nothing, like everything in my life is going well, actually. Like, why am I feeling this? Horrible. Yeah.
Yes. And I feel at moment when I'm in my meditation, even after I'm doing the torsion field, like I have a dark cloud moving around.
Yes, it's crazy. I'm doing all the things I need to be doing, and I'm like, why am I feeling this way? And I remember exactly saying it like this. It's crazy.
Yes, exactly. And then eventually your boundaries are breached, and it's in you.
Yeah.
And you begin to freak out. I'm
literally,
I'm trying to get it out. I'm like, what's going on? Why am
I
I
was
not
like,
where I
am
was
I?
supposed
And
to
then
be?
I started getting depressed. I'm like, what is going on? Like, it's just a roller coaster of crazy feelings. I'm like, oh my God.
Yep. Absolutely. You're right. And again, it's an infection or of the group body. We're all empath. We're sensitive people, and we are empathing and sensing what the whole planet, 8 billion people, are feeling at this moment. And it's coming in, and it's so, as you said, Melton, it's so big and so immense. And this is where, after a while, I'm like, this cannot be all mine. It's too immense. I feel so
Too immense.
disempowered.
So
I feel so
disempowered.
overwhelmed, so overwhelmed. It cannot all be mine. And finally, I ask myself, is this coming from me? Is this? And when I heard, no, it's not 100% yours. It's not
Yeah.
all yours.
Yeah. Totally.
And at that moment, I'm like, okay, so, and what I didn't realize, and again, it's because we've done the personal power before, and you give your personal power to people, to certain kind of things, and so on and so forth, to your subconscious mind, to archetypes. This is the way we've done the personal power before. When I channel it, it was channeled for that purpose. But what I didn't realize is that the group body can actually have karma that will infect us and that will take our personal power. I
Yeah.
didn't know this. I didn't know this until it happened to me.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Do you understand? So
Yeah.
there's a nuance in there that I didn't, but I have to say to you, I've been doing the personal power now for 2 weeks. It has managed to pull me back to my center.
Okay.
Okay, so it works. You
Yeah.
understand?
I need
It
to get on
works.
that boat.
Yes. Chapter 3 of the a
Yeah,
primer.
no, I have it. I have your I have the book somewhere. I have to find it in my million moves. It's somewhere. But I do also have the paper that you sent us like a
Yes.
million years ago.
Yes. So that in itself, to do the personal power, is going to be very helpful in trying to create, to give you your control back, because you have to separate yourself from the group body and say, it's not my karma. I don't need to feel all of this. You see what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Yes, go ahead.
It is literally overwhelming. Like I understand
It
now
is completely
exactly. And when
overwhelming.
when you feel it, you're like, what? I literally, and I actually forgot we had this talk, and then it clicked at some point. I was like, oh my God, this is what Pierre was talking. And you get lost in it. You're like, what the heck? Like
Because you're like
it's
you're like me, Melton. Every time something happens to you, you think you did something wrong.
And I'm like, yeah, and I'm looking in, I'm like, what? I mean, I know I'm going through some grief and stuff because so much has happened, but still, I knew that there was so much bigger than that. And I'm like, I cannot feel like this with all the tools that I have.
Yes.
And I'm doing everything, and I'm still feeling this crazy, weird, oh, it's just horrible.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I totally understand what you said now, when you were explaining to us
Yep.
last week or
Yep.
a couple of weeks ago.
Yep. Yes, Janice, I'm sorry.
yeah. I just want to be a witness. As as you had said, as you experienced as well, I started the personal power program, what, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and it has helped immensely in um, tempering that emotional, unexplainable, undefinable feeling that on waking and throughout the day plagued me. So thank you for that programming, and I can attest to the fact that it works.
Thank you, Janice. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah,
And
thanks very much.
I highly recommend that you all do it, because I'm doing it and I can tell you it is making a world of difference. There are things related to my book, for example, that I couldn't do because the feeling was so overwhelming. I didn't have the clarity to do the cover, the bio, all kind of things that were necessary for the book is basically done. It's just the cover we have to finish to publish the book. And I can't do it. I've been staring at the page. I opened the document, I'm looking at it, and I'm feeling so weird and so nauseating. I can't think.
Nauseated, literally, yeah.
I
Crazy.
can't even think straight.
Yeah, yeah.
And because I did the program, I complete the task. I did it.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you this. It is a tremendous. And again, what I didn't know is that the that kind of infection that's coming from world karma, collective karma, can actually trigger and mirror toward emotion and past trauma and bring them forth. That's the part I didn't get.
Yeah.
And when it happened, I think it's myself. It's
Yeah.
my
That's what you think.
responsibility. Yeah, I
I was
think
like,
it's
oh my God.
myself.
I was thinking, oh my God, I think I'm losing it. Literally. I was like, oh, maybe too much happened in my life.
Yeah,
At least I'm losing it.
yeah. And I have to tell you, and let's go even deeper. This, as bad as it may appear to be, is actually an opportunity for us to face the dweller on the threshold. And this came clear as a client reached out to me, a member of our group, who's having a big, gigantic test with the same kind of energy, but for her, it's exponential. It's really big and very paralyzing and all that. And in the process of trying to help her heal, I discovered a whole bunch of things that I want to share with you right at this moment. And it has to do with the original fall and bread of shame. In this instance, because of all of the work that Lord Melchizedek is asking us to do as now an open mentorship into the Melchizedek order of neutrality with the upgraded torsion field and all the guidance Melchizedek is giving us to become fully functioning Melchizedek. The torsion field, as we know it, as we're doing it now, because by the time you get to the 15th dimension and the 12 collective of Guardian, you're now at the ceiling of the heaven. You're so high that and so deep that your torsion field is now as big as the entire universe, if done correctly. So it means at that moment, as you're doing this, you're accepting your original power before your fall. And I have to tell you that this is so immense and so big that in the instance of this client and many of us, it will trigger a crisis in bread of shame, meaning that I am undeserving of such elevation. Because the Guardian is giving us the technology to be able to do it energetically and become the stall. But are you emotionally and subconsciously prepared to accept it? Now, you as a soul extension that belongs to a collective of 144 may be prepared to accept it, right? But is your 144, 143 or the aspect of your monad, are they prepared to accept it? In the case of this one client, the rest of her monad or some of them are not prepared to accept it because they have too much shame. They haven't done the work yet. And therefore, their shame is now triggering in her a crisis of shame as well and undeservedness. So she's not just getting it from the group body of humanity, but from her own monad who feel undeserving of the elevation. And for her, what's the solution set? More than ever, ask the karmic board to come in and negotiate a truce between yourself and the members of your monad who have not done the work yet, who are still feeling deep and profound shame and undeservedness, and they are not prepared to ascend. You can begin to go up and ascend and leave them wherever they are. And in time, since there is no time and space, they'll figure it out and they will join you in a higher dimension. But that needs to happen with the agreement of the karmic board. Does that make any sense?
I have a question on that.
Yes.
So we covered the monads such a long time ago. Sometimes we have to keep going back and covering stuff.
Yes.
Our monads, they're all incarnated, or they could also be somewhere.
Yeah, they're not all incarnated.
Okay.
And Dr. Stone talked about the fact that he knew on Earth, for him, there was only 4 pieces, 4 fragments of his monad that were on Earth. All the other ones were in other dimensions and other places.
Other planets and stuff?
Other planet, other dimension, yes, exactly. Or some of them are in between state. They are not, they haven't incarnated yet. It could be in all kinds of places.
Okay. And but for them to make some kind of a choice, they would have to be incarnated, like those that have decided not to or have fallen behind have to be incarnated, right? I mean, they can't be in between.
When you're incarnated, it's the fastest way to remove karma.
Right.
Okay? You can still make choices when you're in between, like in the Baldo state, but it's not as fast as it is when you're incarnated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and moreover, sometimes the group body, some members of your collective, when you begin to ascend, because these people are actually you, they will know and they will sense that you're elevating.
Yeah.
And in this instance, it's not a joke. It's the actual mechanic of true ascension.
Mm-hmm.
From a universal standpoint. That's what we're doing. Melchizedek is giving us an incredible gift. This is the actual mechanic.
Yeah.
And as we are doing it, because the rest of the moon and realize, oh my God, I remember this. I remember that state, but I still feel unworthy of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was in that state, I fell down. And it could be if I accept this and I go back, I'm going to make the same mistake again. I'm going to fall down again.
Mm.
I'm undeserving of it.
So the karmic board is the one to get involved.
The karmic board is the only way for you to negotiate. That's what I'm advising this client right now to negotiate, particularly Lady Kuan Yin.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you why. There's a story about Kuan Yin. She reminded me, this happened actually last night. I was doing a healing for my client when that happened. She reminded me of that story when she came in during the healing. Lady Kuan Yin was the bodhisattva of compassion. Her father had this horrible relationship with her and had sent people to hurt her multiple times. She did not want the people who were sent, if they returned without accomplishing their tasks, the father was going to punish them severely. The father was an emperor. She was a princess. And she didn't want to get married. She wanted to be a nun and move toward enlightenment. And the father would not hear of it. The father tortured her most of her life. She was in meditation in Fragrance Island when the last attempt was done on her. She, realizing this, she allowed the person to have her. So she went deliberately into the realm of hell. And when she arrived there, her compassion and her love and her ability to listen and to be a witness, complete witness, was so deep because she listened to herself so deeply that the environment that she was in, that was all hellfire and fury and sulfuric environment, did not touch her. And she actually began to confess the demons that were in hell around her. And she began to transform them by the confession into Buddhas. And as she was doing this, she was transforming the landscape of the underworld into gardens filled with flowers and beauty and all that. And the king of hell was so upset that he sent her back into the living. So she has this innate ability that even for fallen energies and things that are very dark, that you're feeling and that you cannot comprehend, she has a way of witnessing them with such love and such mercy and such compassion that she will confess them and allow them to transform into something else. And she reminded me of this yesterday. That if ever we're facing things that are that big, we should be calling her and asking, well, we should call the entire karmic board. And in my experience with calling the karmic board, Lady Kuan Yin is typically the one that shows up and tells me what the board decides. She's the spokesperson, basically. And so that story touched me last night deeply and reminding me of past healing that I have done, because I didn't know this could be done. It was a client from like 6 years ago that was facing something catastrophic that I could not solve. The case was so complicated. The time the client would come in and tell me, this is what I'm feeling, and when I connected energetically, I'm like, okay, I don't know how to solve this. I'm like, let's take a break. She go for water, I go to the bathroom, and on the way back, spirit would flash something inside of me and say, do this. And I learned so much from this client, right? And it was in the course of doing this that for the first time in my life, the calming board just showed up during healing and begin to work with this client to resolve a long standing karma that was several million years old. Because we keep thinking that karma is something that may happen in this lifetime. But a lot of times it's so old and so ancient that it you know. And one other thing to realize as well, we are not as smart as we think we are. Okay? Because when you realize that the client or you have been repeating the same thing for 2 million years, making the same mistake over and over again, it tells you a lot about our intelligence. We're not as smart as we think we are. Because emotionally, we don't have the capacity to, a lot of times, to pause and try to understand, like Kuan Yin did, which is a gift. She went inside of herself and she sat with herself and she witnessed herself. And she went so deep that she understood the underlying principle that were triggering her and her family. And she witnessed it without being triggered, without being volatile, and allow for mercy and compassion to enter into her heart. She forgave herself for being born in this family. She forgave herself for her connection to everything else. And as she did this, she unraveled a whole bunch of things, and she became this tower of compassion and strength. So we should be asking ourselves, as all of these things are happening around us, be very aware of the. By the way, Melton, just as an aside, I just want to say this to you. The program that you have that's printed out is very thick and it's very complicated to follow. Here are the 4 things that you need to do. Okay? That are absolutely essential, and you can incorporate 3 parts of it in your daily routine. The only thing you need to say aloud is the affirmation, which are 10 lines. It will take you less than a minute to repeat aloud on a daily basis for 21 days. Before you go to sleep at night, as you're about to go to bed under the covers, ask Master Dwal Kul to anchor into your body the core field metrics removal programming and to remove from you all negative programs, sub-programming, related programs that are robbing you of your personal power. And to do this, underline bold letters, Hierophant, continuously for the rest of the night. And then go to sleep. When you wake up in the morning, you go to the bathroom or you go back
So
to
before
bed.
sleep, ask Master Duakul.
Yes.
Can you repeat that? Hold on.
Yes.
Just want to interject. Excuse me for interrupting. Melton, I had the advantage of having the Word doc of that chapter, so I copied out
Oh,
on a
can you send it to me?
that whole process. It condensed down, so I'd be glad to just put that in
Email
any.
it to me, please.
Yes, of course.
Thank
That's
you.
why.
And so for people who don't have that privilege who are watching us on this video, I'm going to go over the other parts. So Master Dwakul core field metrics removal programming anchored into my body and remove from me all negative programs, sub-program related programs that are trying to rob me of my core fear, of my personal power, and then go to sleep. In the morning, as you all wake up, you ask the Mahatma, Lord Melchizedek, and Archangel Metatron to run their platinum light net through your 4-body system. The platinum light net, the platinum light is the highest light that can be anchored on Earth. Run that platinum light net and to remove from me all misqualified and unbalanced energies. I'm doing this, I'm still in bed under the covers. Then I get up, I go brush my teeth, I do my morning routine, I go take a shower. And when I'm done with all of this, I then ask Archangel Michael to create a golden armor of light and protection around me. I go have breakfast. After my breakfast, I open the book, I read the affirmation aloud. Now, throughout the day, that's the basic program. Throughout the day, if for whatever reason the feeling of being overwhelmed happened again, the feeling of being that nausea, that weird sensation happened, repeat the Mahatma, Lord Melchizedek and Archangel Metatron, and then the Archangel Michael, golden armor of light and protection around you. You repeat those 2 steps. You may have to repeat it 2 to 3 times during the first few days, and after that, you just have to do it once. That's the basic steps. And you can incorporate it. The only one you literally it mesh, you multitasks. It mesh perfectly with your life. Okay? And
the 3Ms I've been doing since I know you, because you
yes,
taught this to us a long time ago. That I
yes,
every day, every morning I do it. And the
yes.
Golden Bubble of Protection by Archangel Michael too. But the personal power I haven't done in a long time, so I'm looking forward to it. And
Yes.
also the core fear removal program.
This
I haven't done.
is the key, because
Yeah.
people, a lot of spiritual people have powerful affirmation. But if the original program is not deleted, because
Yeah.
the core field metrics removal programming is a deletion. If
Yeah.
that is not deleted, you're going to have a powerful program that's now in your subconscious mind that's going to battle against the original one. You will
Yeah.
not have eternal peace. You will bounce off like a pendulum.
And also, I feel even when we remove it, like we did years ago, still the archons, I'm sure, sneak in some more programming.
Exactly.
Right?
This is why you
Keep
ask.
clearing it.
This is why you ask for it to remove program, sub-program, and
Yeah,
related
yeah.
program.
Right.
Make sure it catches everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions or comments? I wanted to talk about this today because we have to be honest about the process. None of us knew we're feeling our way through this huge evolutionary leap that we're about to take. And as we're stumbling and bumping our feet against rocks and precipice, we need to support each other and kind of figure out, wait a minute, there's a rock here. How do I overcome this hurdle? Do I have to jump? What is it that I have to do? And as we do this, we're able to guide each other into safe passage. That's the whole point, is to find safe passage. So we should be doing what we need to do to get to because that unease is not a fun place to be. It is not a fun place to be. It is extremely uncomfortable, and again, it takes. It's not, again, the personal power is not a hard thing to do. It requires some discipline to remember at certain time you need to do these 4 things. And once you begin to do it, you will literally feel better. You will get up in the morning, you'll feel like, oh my God, I'm back at myself again. I haven't felt this way. How long has it been? You begin to regain back your power. And again, your power was given incrementally as this cloud was in your perimeter coming in. It slowly eroded by beginning to make you feel more and more that whatever it is that you're feeling is yours. This is the way you capitulate your power. You don't, although the energy is not yours, but over time, because of what we're doing, which is inner work, you begin to interpret, if I'm feeling this way, if it's resonating to an experience I had in my past, although what your body is really doing, because I know this, I should know better. Because when I do clearing for people, when I begin to do the meditation to guide them, and I'm calling upon God, the God force, Christ, the Holy Spirit, and all the entire spiritual hierarchy, I would begin to feel wherever they have implant in their body, like someone took a pick and stabbed me in the knee, stabbed me in the kidney, stabbed me in the face, stabbed me in my head. Very dramatic. But the first time as I was learning how to do this, I thought I picked up their devices. But Spirit guided me very quickly. No, Pierre, we're trying to tell you through your mirror neuron that they have implant and devices in these locations in their body. So when you go and ask us to come in, a spiritual being, to remove them, you need to guide us to go to that specific location. There's something, a device here, there's a device there, there's a device at the knee, there's a device, and we will remove them. So what I learned to do is that if I feel it here, I would then let my energy and my thought and my consciousness go to that location, and I would say to my higher self, thank you for letting me know. And poof, like this, the sensation will go away. So in a perfect world, when I feel, for example, it goes to me feeling unsafe and it takes me back to my dad and that experience, if I were to ask the question at that time, is this coming from me or from the outside? And my higher self says energy doesn't, I would tell me, no, it's not yours. It's part of the group body. And I would simply say, thank you for letting me know. So my entire experience with my dad would poof and go in the background. But that's not what we do. That's not what I did anyway. I spent weeks, if not a month, re-examining this. Okay, thinking that there's a part that I left unresolved. And all the old stuff began to go back but here is an opportunity again, because I have to tell you that unease, that kind of malaise that comes in, is actually the dweller on the threshold, meaning it's the last test before ascension. There is not, when I was part of the mystery school, a lot of it was very dramatic. So when you're getting initiated from first degree, second, third, and fourth, there is always an experience of you being outside of the temple, being brought in the antechamber in darkness. And there, they call that experience when you're in the darkness, the dweller on the threshold. The test where you face your own inner darkness, the test that Master Jesus faced after being 40 days in the desert, where the devil came to him, he was fasting, and said to him that he showed him all the food in the world. I'm going to give you all of this if you follow me, whatever he said. And Jesus said, get thee behind me, Satan, for man does not live from bread and bread alone, but from every word that comes from the mouth of God. So that dweller is going to test you through your weakness, and that weakness will be a trauma, either in this life or past life, that is so big for you, it's going to bring it forth to test you. Because it's realizing that you're elevating and you're getting closer and closer to complete ascension. So we have to be aware of this and realize that because this is happening, it's because we're doing it right. Any questions or any comments? I want to bring to attention a couple of other things that I've been doing that have been very helpful. Because the torsion field does not need the directions of the compass, north, east, south, north, south, east, west. I don't dwell too deeply sometime when I'm doing the torsion field, I'm outside of time and space. I go in neutral space and all that. I don't pay attention often to the direction, although my altar is facing the northeast. I don't dwell too deeply into the direction or sometimes even rituals. I am finding out that in this environment that I'm in right now, I have to ritualize more, and I have to do the things I used to do in the past to get me into the right state for proper guidance. And if you're facing all of these things right now, that's what I'm doing. I would recommend you do the same thing. I am lighting my candles during my prayers when I'm doing these practices. Something I was not doing for months, if not years, I would do it like, for example, let's say I'm doing a special 21-day thing or a ritual or whatever, but on a daily basis, I would not do it because the moment I do the torsion field, I'm outside of time and space. There is no reason for me to do it. But I'm finding that it actually is providing me incredible support for me to light my candle. And again, be careful because, again, when you're done with your candle, you need to blow it out before you depart. Not leave anything lit up in your apartment that could create some other kind of crisis for you. And I burn incense. These are the things I used to do often. I would light a candle and burn incense. Now, every time I'm doing healing for people, I'm doing both things. I'm finding that and a lot of prayers are actually essential for me right now to support me from picking up all of that turbulence that the whole planet is feeling right now. Now, and the reason for this is that we don't want to be separated from the rest of the planet. Our role as a member of the 144,000 collective is to feel and sense the distress and the worries of humanity, but not empath, not take the burden in, but take the burden and guide it into God. And right now, you and I don't have the skill set to do this elegantly. I know I don't. I sense sometimes I do it. When I'm with a client, I can do it because I know this is my client. I can separate myself from this. I can do it. But when it's happening all around me in my life and I'm going about and these things are falling in, I begin to interpret it as mine. I don't separate myself from it. Not yet. So we need to get to a point where we do this better and we begin to realize that and again, the way I'm doing this is that I'm doing more prayer and I'm asking God for more guidance and more discernment to allow me to see what's mine and what's not mine, to separate me from the two. I can empath and feel what people are feeling, but separate me from the feelings. I have said this also before, because of all the changes, climate change, political, social change, tariffs, all this crazy stuff that's happening around, that's exciting people. Separate yourself from the news. You don't need to be uninformed. You can be informed in broad line, but don't get caught up in the minutiae and the detail. And this person said, and that. Did you hear what that? And my friend are talking about these kind of political. I said, I'll be right back. And I walk out. I walk away, and I don't come back. I don't come back. I don't want to have the conversation. If they're calling me on the phone and they're going on and on, I'm like, there's another call coming in. I gotta go. I don't call them back.
I just tell people I don't do politics. Sorry.
Yes, that's great.
Yes.
Yes. That's great. That's great. Absolutely. And so I'm not having that conversation because it's gonna disturb my energy and you're gonna empath more. It's a back door through which all kinds of things can begin to enter from the collective.
And people are so angry right now. Like they have so much anger and frustration. They literally just want to spill it on somebody. I was like, no thanks.
Yeah. Go to your therapist and
talk to her.
Yeah, go to your priest. You don't need to vomit that thing on me. I don't need to take it. It's bad enough I'm feeling it emotionally. I'm and I need to separate myself from it. So for me, including these other things that I had not done in a while in my routine, burning my incense, lighting my candle on a daily basis, doing my prayer, of course, my meditation and all that, and allowing myself to be at peace with God is helping tremendously in having the strength, the hope, and the serenity and the peace and the neutrality to not allow, in other words, it's giving me an alternative to that chaos and that nausea. It's giving me an alternative.
Yeah, I like candles too.
Yes.
I need to adopt incense too. I sometimes do the incense, but I should do it daily.
Yeah. There's some Japanese incense that I have that will, because I have all kinds of incense. but some of them are very, very strong.
Yeah, too
I have to cut the sticks down because it's too strong. You understand?
Yeah.
It's too overwhelming.
Yeah.
And they are good incense, they're pure, but because of their purity, burning one entire stick for an entire thing. And first of all, because of the amount I'm going to inhale, I'm going to be floating for hours. And sometimes I have to go outside and do other things. I have to be grounded. I just need a little shot, you know. The Cuban have a thing they call cafecito. Instead of one coffee, it's a small cup. It's a tiny little shot. So I need a cafecito. I need like that. I need a tiny little shot, not the whole thing, not a full cup. And
especially in our small apartments.
yes, that's what I'm saying.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Oh.
So and so that's what I'm doing is that I'm realizing that part is also necessary for me, because when I light the candle, I get more illumined, because lighting the candle is important. It's the fire element. It represents the fire of spirit, the fire of God. And the moment you light it, it connects you to something else.
And it purifies.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Now, I'm not going to a full ritual and all that. There's a whole bunch of things that we can do. The burning pot. There are all kinds of things that we can do that can actually also purify and do all this other stuff. But if you're doing the torsion field itself, the torsion field can clear any space. Any space. By the time you're done, every darkness is removed.
Are you doing it once a day in the morning, or
once a day in the morning, and sometime when I'm walking? Now, the long version I do once a day, but sometime when I'm walking, I've said this to you before. When I'm walking, sometime going to the waterfront, it's a 30-minute walk to get to the location where I meet with my friends. As I'm walking, I take 12 breaths, and I do exactly the same thing, but fast. So one breath, I'm already at the top of the fourth dimensional body, and I see the torsion field being recreated around me. Then I exhale, and then I take the breath from the fifth dimension, and I go down. I do it very quickly, right? And as I do it this way, I can feel almost, when I'm doing it that fast and that elevated, because the problem is that I cannot initially, this is why I was having a lot of problem of seeing each dimension as seven chakra. I was seeing the column buckle, like bend down, because I could not, or bulk, or bend in front of me. I could not believe that I am that big and that tall, that it's all me, right? Because again, undeservedness and shame. I can't believe it's me. All of this, I'm so tall and so deep in the core of the earth. I can't believe it's all me. But when I do it that fast, for example, as I'm walking, like a walking contemplation or meditation, as I'm doing it like that, all of a sudden, it's there, and I can feel almost like a flashlight above me. Like I'm walking, and the flashlight, the column of light is walking with me, right? So, and the afterglow remain for hours. So this is the reason I kind of sometimes did not light the candle, because I thought all the darkness will. What I'm finding right now, I need to ground this physically in the 3D world by lighting the candle and burning the incense, because it's making a dramatic difference for me in the way I see myself and interpret everything around me. Any questions, any comments? Okay, I'm going to share with you and read you the prayer we're going to do in our meditation today. And it's a prayer that I channel.
Pierre,
Yes.
is it okay to use the diffuser?
Yes, of course.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. It's the second prayer. Let me read it for you. As I sense the fear and panic of the world, Lord, grant me the detachment not to empath the fear, the strength and the resiliency to be a good shepherd, the patience to help humanity navigate the storms. Speak through me and help them find peace, serenity, and reconciliation. Help me show them neutrality as a way to respond to injustices without zealotry and emotional blindness. For responding to fear with fear creates an equally toxic dynamic, replacing fear with wisdom and love, repair and heal the illusion of separation that divides us. Lord, I am not certain I can accomplish this task, for I am just a man, but in you, Lord, I completely surrender myself and my mission. Guide my path, Lord, and fortify me that I may do your work and help heal humanity. Amen. The line to me that's, first of all, you're asking to have the detachment to not empath the fear because you're sensing the fear and the panic of the world. You're asking for the strength and the resiliency to be a good shepherd, the patient to help humanity navigate the storm, and to ask God to speak through you to help humanity find peace, serenity, and reconciliation. The line that really stood out to me, help me show them neutrality as a way to respond to injustices without zealotry or emotional blindness. If you are not neutral and you're off charge and you're being just another swing in the pendulum, going from left to right, it's not going to be good for you ultimately because it would take you multiple lifetimes. And this is why I was saying before, when I do past life regression for my client and they go into millions of years in the past and they're off planet somewhere and the same issue they're facing now, they've been repeating the same thing for millions of years. Because again, we are reacting for raw emotion as the pendulum swinging from left to right. So we need to have the neutrality as a way to understanding injustices without zealotry or emotional blindness. And the reason for this is that if we respond to fear with fear, it creates an equally toxic dynamic. Replacing fear with wisdom and love repairs and heals the illusion of separation that divides us. And there is a beautiful line on the prayer, and I feel this in my core, even as I'm reading it now. Lord, I am not certain that I can accomplish this task, for I am just a man or a woman. But in you, Lord, I completely surrender myself and my mission. Because this thing is immense. I mean, when you sense, for all of you who have sensed the nausea and the malaise and this thing is so big and so overwhelming. I'm not certain as a simple person that I have the strength or the ability to discern and to navigate this. But in you, God, I trust. And therefore, I'm surrendering myself and my mission into you. Guide my path, Lord, the final line, and fortify me, that I may do your work and help heal humanity. Amen. Any questions, any comments?
I just wanted to add to your thoughts on that line. I am just a man, a woman. I'm not sure I know how to manage this because I'm little, but with surrender to you, you are powerful and you can manage. I was watching a movie, Moses, and he was facing the same challenge, uh, bringing the Israelites out of Egypt. He said, Lord, I can't do this. I don't know how to do this. I'm just a man.
Mm,
And in the movie, at least, God spoke to him and said, I will do it. You just have to follow
mm,
my direction. You have to do what I tell you to do. Even if it doesn't feel like you can do it, you must do it. In other words, those were the exact words. But that's so often the feeling that I have. Who am I to take on such a task?
mhm.
And it is not I that would do it anyway,
Yeah.
but it would be through me that it would happen, I think. Wouldn't you say?
Yes, yes. This is a beautiful example. It's exactly what I'm sensing, what I channel when I wrote this prayer. Absolutely, exactly that. Because this thing is so immense and so big, we begin to, we're thinking to ourselves, it's not. I'm not capable of doing this. The task is too big, too immense.
Mm.
But in you, I'm surrendering this. I'm saying, look at how big this thing is. Help me lift it. And this is actually similar to what's being done also when you're asking the calming board to help you, because you're realizing this stuff is too big, particularly when you're entangled with the karma, with the group body. It's like I'm so enmeshed in this. How do I negotiate? If I were to start trying to figure out all the little steps that I need to do, it's going to take multiple lifetimes for me to do this. So I'm asking higher celestial powers for assistance. Help me.
And since we are here to help humanity in this transition, we need all the help we can get too.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this,
So,
yes, correct. I'm sorry.
pardon me. So what might have taken normally other lifetimes for us, karmically or other in other ways to remove negative programming, we are being assisted, I think, in this critical time that we came to assist with. So not only are we volunteering to help, but we are being helped
That's
as
correct. That's correct. And this is exactly the point that I was leading to. Thank you, Janice, for this great segue, because the point is that the dweller and this test is actually a teaching module to help us find the connection and the trust to higher powers and let the higher powers take the wheel. It's a test of faith and belief, to let the higher powers take the wheel and say, I cannot do this, but I'm going to surrender everything to you and say, support me. Support me, because I am having difficulty managing this. That's where the prayer comes in. That's where the daily connection to higher powers and the practice is one thing. Breath control, torsion field is one thing. But a prayer that comes from your heart, God will listen to it. It goes right in. It goes like directly right in. Don't underestimate your connection to God, because all of these tests will actually are opportunities for you to connect to that part of you that needs to feel, I am deserving of connecting to God. Remember, the issue is shame. I'm undeserving. But when you connect like this, and these crises give you an opportunity to reconnect back, and as you're communicating now with God back and forth, it will reopen what was open before the fall, which is a direct, complete line of creation or connection with your creator as your benefactor that you communicate with all the time. And I'm using that word benefactor for a reason. A benefactor is one that gives profusely. Any questions, any comments?
Yeah, I mean, we're all extremely guided and supported all the time. I truly believe this. I mean, I would have died a million times. I know that for sure. And the angels and all the work that we do and we have done in the past, we are truly guided and supported. And like you always say, we just have to really ask for help
Yes,
when we feel down and when we feel a little lost, perhaps. And the help comes right away.
yes,
It's insane. I mean, I was like in this moment of really like feeling like what on earth is going on. I mean, I kept praying and I was like, I know God and the goddess, you would not give me something I cannot handle, but this feels like too much. Like, what is going on? Give me some clarity because I'm a little lost here. I'm like, why am I feeling so awful?
mhm,
And then the next day I was already feeling better. So
yeah,
just prayer is incredible. And they listen
yes,
all the time. And miracles happen when you keep praying.
yes, absolutely. And I wanted to point out one more thing before we take our break, a 5 minute break before meditation. Giving everything that's happening in the world right now, don't go anywhere without not doing the torsion field. The short version, 12 breath. I told you before, when I go in my car, I turn on the ignition and I wait 2 minutes as if I'm warming my car, even during the summer. And during those 2 minutes, I'm doing my torsion field around the vehicle. Because I want to go with that flashlight above me. There are too many crazy energies that are floating about.
There's so much anger, especially when you're driving. It's
Yes,
insane. Four people
yes,
just had a crash. I'm sure it was some crazy anger stuff.
yes,
People have rage, like insane rage, and the road rage that I'm seeing increase is crazy.
yes,
So yeah,
yes.
definitely.
Yeah, and you will create a bubble of neutrality around you. Everything will happen around you. You will not be touched.
So you think when we do our own torsion field at home before going, for example, we should do another one when we get in the car?
I do it.
Okay.
I do it. It takes 12 minutes. And I don't do the long version. 12 breath. First breath,
Mm.
first guardian. And then go into the fourth dimension, top of the fourth dimension. Second breath, it goes down. Third breath, 12th breath. I created around the car and I said, okay, now guardian, you go, this is my destination. Take me there safely.
Yeah, I should start doing that.
Okay? When I'm in a plane,
Oh
when the
yeah,
plane is,
planes are so crazy these days.
yes,
Oh my
when,
God, they're falling
all of,
all over the place
yes, yes, absolutely.
like
Again,
flies.
exactly.
I mean, it's not funny, but
No, totally. And so as I sit in the plane is taxiing, I do a torsion field around the plane,
yeah.
myself and the plane. And I share with you the last class, I mean, maybe I didn't share in this class, but if I'm traveling from here to Los Angeles, 5 hours flight, the speed at which the plane is flying, when I land in LAX, I am stretched over that length of time with multiple versions of my body stretched over that time because I'm moving too fast to time. So it means my energy is still in New York while my physical body is in LA. And at that moment, I am vulnerable. I am in mortal danger because anything can attack me. So in the Kabbalah, I didn't know this until I had an accident. I went to Berlin and I almost lost the retina in my right eye because there was a blood vessel rupture at the back of my eye. And when I went back to the Kabbalists I was studying with, they knew what to do. Okay, and they told me immediately, go on on Sabbath, put your hand on the Torah, and they had a special ritual to bring my energy back. So every time when I land, if I don't do it at the airport because I'm rushed for time, when I get to the hotel, I sit down, or the place I'm going, my friends, I sit down and I do a torsion field, and I ask the guardian to bring all my bodies that are spread like an accordion from New York to LA or from wherever I departed to now and collapse it all back into me so that I am no longer in mortal danger.
Hmm. That makes sense.
take heed with what I'm telling you. Trust me, I want you around for a long time.
Let's do this.
Yes, 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 yes. Any other comments or questions?
Well, I'm just listening to the class this evening, and I'm glad that I was able to get on, because for a while I didn't think my computer was going to allow me. And I had been feeling that strange nausea and malaise so badly that I would go out and I could just barely get back home. And I'm like, what is happening? I said, well, maybe this is what dying feels like. I mean, it's just like, oh my goodness. I just better go and lay down someplace where someone, if I fall out, somebody will, at least they'll know who I am. I won't be falling out in the street somewhere. And, my daughter said, Mom, I'm going to take you to this store with me. We walked into the mall, and he had to buy a wheelchair to get me out of there. I tell you. So I said, well, if I feel like this tomorrow, I think I better go to see a doctor or something, because this kind of nausea, I've never felt this way, and this kind of drain on my energy. I said, I have never felt like this before. At least I can't remember feeling like this. And so I was just dragging from one edge of the house to the other. And so I was laying here and listening. I'm like, oh, somebody else is feeling this? That's because I was wondering, where is this coming from? This can't be all mine. And that was what I was saying to myself. This can't be all mine. I must be feeling really bad. Well, I ain't going to tell you the word I said. I must be in some deep doodle if this is how I'm feeling. So anyway, I'm just glad to hear that it's not as strange, and I'm not. It's not an isolated thing. I can't even breathe. You're talking about breathe. I can't breathe. I can't catch my breath. I can't get a deep breath. Nothing seems to work. Nothing takes right. Water don't even taste right. So I'm like, this nausea is something I don't think I was nauseous when I had my children. There's one thing that I really think that I escaped, the nausea. But I got it now. And my son said, Mom, are you pregnant? I said, well, if I am, this is truly, truly, truly going to be an immaculate conception. I said, well, I don't even know where my stuff is at. So if anybody else can find it, that's good for them. But I'm telling you, this is a feeling that I've never had before. So
Yeah, we're also in a geomagnetic storm. So that also causes a lot of stuff along with everything else.
Yes.
We're in it right now. So it's like, whoa,
And
heart palpitations, exhaustion, nausea.
lots of water and nap.
Yeah.
And absolutely. And more importantly as well, we have all of these planets that are retrograde. Mercury is retrograde.
Exactly. Venus.
Venus is retrograde.
Yeah.
We have all these planets who are retrograde.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And because they're retrograding, it means that the past will come forward and things of your past. Again, what did I say to you? The outside is going to create something that will make you remember something, a trauma that you had experienced, and bring it forth and make you understand that it's you, when in fact it's not you. Again, ask the simple question. Every time you're feeling this way, is this coming from me? Or is this coming from the outside? Is it 100% mine? And the moment you ask, the truth will show up for you. And whatever is not yours, ask for God or a celestial being that are helping you, Kuan Yin, to help disconnect you to that which don't belong to you.
All right. Well, thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because we don't need to impart this. I'm so glad I'm talking about this because, again, the nausea, the malaise, the kind of sense of like something is wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Something is very
Like
wrong.
deep inside this weird,
Yes.
awful feeling, like like ew.
Yes.
Like something's about to happen, and you're like,
And
but
you don't even know why. You can't figure out
you
why.
can't figure it out. Like,
Yes.
oh my God, that's crazy.
And it's not yours. It's because
No.
we are sensitive and we're empathic.
Yeah, and when we're in it, you do get confused.
Yes,
When it
yes,
first enters you, you're like, "What on earth?" And
yeah,
we even talked about this. I was still like lost for a bit.
yes.
So yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, Celidia, keep doing what you're doing. Again, rest, listen to your body. The nausea, I can tell you clearly, it's not yours. I can tell you that it's not yours. You're empathing things that the whole planet is feeling because your heart is so big, and you try as a mother, you're trying to shepherd, if you want, to pray for everything. My suggestion: pray for yourself.
Mhm. Yes, and that's exactly what I was doing. I said, I got to pray for myself. I said, because it's me, Lord, standing in need of prayer. It's me.
Yeah,
And I can't call for nobody else. It's for me.
yeah,
And when you're talking before, the people that they, the people that are in the Bible, they did not know that this was what was happening at the time that they were going through whatever they were going through. They were just going through what was happening in their life. They didn't know you were going to be reading about this 2,000 years in the future. They were just living the life that was theirs at that particular time. But so it's really a never ending story, because these are the human experiences, and this is the spiritualization of those experiences. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't talk anymore. Okay.
let us take a 5 minute break and then we'll do our closing meditation. 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Take a very deep and slow breath. And as you inhale and exhale deeply and slowly, allow the universal life force that permeates everything to enter into your lungs. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. And let your soul and your awareness drop in the middle of your chest. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. Let your mind and your heart sync with each other. And notice what you noticed. Listen. Listen with your entire being, as if the more than 50 trillion cells in your body had ears. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. And notice what you noticed. What am I feeling? Where am I feeling it? Is this coming from me? Or is it from the outside? What percentage of this is mine? We call forth the calming board, the divine director, Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, Pallas Athena, Lady Portia, Lady Nada, Lady Justice, Hello Encyclopedia. And I ask that they may begin to remove my connection and attachments and emotional entanglement with what is not coming from me. Help negotiate the release of this collective karma and disconnect me to all program, sub-program, and related program that are triggering this overpowering and overwhelming sensation. I release all attachments, fears, and control. And I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. I release all attachments, fears, and control. And I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. I release all attachments, fears, and control. And I surrender into the great emptiness and endless luminosity. As I sense the fears and the panic of the world, Lord, grant me the detachment not to empath the fear. The strength and resiliency to be a good shepherd, the patience to help humanity navigate the storm, speak through me and help them find peace, serenity, and reconciliation. Help me show them neutrality as a way to respond to injustices without zealotry and emotional blindness. For responding to fear with fears creates an equally toxic dynamic. Replacing fear with wisdom and love, repair and heal the illusion of separation that divides us. Lord, I am not certain that I can accomplish this task, for I am just a man. But in you, Lord, I completely surrender myself and my mission. Guide my path, Lord, and fortify me, that I may do your work and help heal. humanity. Amen. Hosanna into the highest. Hosanna into the highest. Hosanna into the highest. Hosanna into the highest. Take a very deep and slow breath. And whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes.
Oh, Pierre, thank you. Some deep insights came through that meditation. Very, very grateful.
Oh, wow. Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm happy for you. Great.
Thank you.
I want to thank you all for being here tonight and for supporting me. Thank you for being on Patreon, for your support. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much, everyone. Keep doing the good work. We know what we're supposed to do. It's not you. It's collective. We need to disconnect to it. Sending you all my best and my love. Blessings to all of you. Talk to you next week. Good night.
Love y'all. Bye.